This simple yet productive cherry tree farm will get you thousands of logs per hour. Hello there, Ray here, and after the release of the new cherry tree, I spent hours designing and perfecting this automatic farm, getting me closer to completing my quest of farming everything in the game of Minecraft. So with just this one farm, you get access to 20 unique items and blocks, a must-have for any Minecraft builder. Let's take a look at all the different parts which make this possible, starting with the collection system where we place the chest in a very specific location within a chunk. That way the entire farm is in a single chunk, making it so you don't have to worry about turning it off before leaving the area. So looking at F3, if you look right here, you can see it says 10 and then a number and then 8. And just make sure it's on the 10 and 8. The chest will be used for collecting all of the items, and you can add more storage to this if you want. Now we're going to build in a little collection area which is going to collect items from a couple locations within the farm and bring them all to this hopper. I'm going to use glass here just because it's kind of nice to be able to see, as this will also be the AFK location for the player. So you can build this out of whatever blocks you want. We're going to place in some blocks like this, then we're going to place in a total of 6 blocks going this direction. Then we're going to add in 2 more blocks here, and we're going to fill in this with some blocks and 2 more blocks over here. And then this is where we're going to place in water. This is going to move all the items to the hopper. Then we're going to add 1 more layer of blocks on top of this, and then over here we're going to have a solid block with the repeater pointing into it that's on 2 ticks. Then 4 redstone dust like this going into a block. Then we have a repeater on this side on 2 ticks with a block in front. Then we're going to stair step this up and go a bit of a straightaway and then up again like this. And we're going to have redstone dust on all of this and a trapdoor over here. Then on top of this stone block right here, we're going to place in 1 scaffolding, and then we're going to place another one over here. Then on top of this scaffolding here, we're going to go up a total of 16 scaffoldings where you can just spam click them with the correct amount in your inventory, and that'll be just perfect. So when this redstone is powered, it's going to activate an iron trapdoor that's going to be here, and it's also going to go around and activate this vertical redstone using scaffolding, which will eventually activate the TNT at the top. And we'll use this trapdoor so the player only places in 1 sapling at a time. Now to run this redstone, we're going to add in a hopper clock, which is going to be over here. We're going to go out a total of 4, and then we're going to go 5 more this direction. We're going to place a block in there, redstone there, piston up against the side of that, comparator going into there, redstone block in there. We're going to put in a temporary block. Then we're going to have a hopper point into it. Then remove it and place another hopper in back into that one. Then a comparator here, and that comparator is going to go into a block right there, which is going to push power over into a redstone dust and to a piston, which is up against that. Now you can put a lever here, and this is going to be the on and off for this. We'll turn it off for now, and now we just need to put in a total of 16 items that can normally stack up to 64 in there. And then we're going to finish off putting 2 composters on top to prevent the hoppers from creating extra lag by checking for entities above them, as well as preventing any new items from falling into it. The reason why I use a clock to actually determine when to blow up the tree rather than detecting the tree growing itself is because it really simplifies the entire process, which makes the entire farm easy to build up. Now we're going to hook up this clock using a piston, which is going to have an observer in front of it. Now the power that comes from this clock is going to be put into this block here as well as this block here. When the piston extends, it's going to power this, which is going to go down and power these 2 redstone lines. And when it retracts, it's going to power this block here, which is going to have a redstone dust on top and a repeater on 2 game ticks. Then we're going to place blocks like this and here, and that's going to be powered by that repeater there. And that's going to power this piston over here, which is going to have a dirt block on top. This is where we're going to have the sapling grow. And once it's grown, the piston is going to push up the log. We're also going to have a dropper here, which is going to push bone meal into this dispenser here. And this is the dispenser will automatically grow up any sapling that's here. Now, if you want to automatically get more bone meal placed into the farm, we're going to have a total of 7 hoppers, which are going to the outside of the farm, so you can easily place in more bone meal. And you can even have this chest directly hooked up to your bone meal source, which I have a whole bunch in this playlist here. And I would recommend using my automatic moss farm, which not only produces infinite amounts of bone meal, but also fuel and XP. And using it, you can make this farm infinitely automatic. Now we're going to come in and stop the hoppers from picking up items, as well as doing checks above them by placing in some droppers. And now we're ready to build in the big bowl, which is going to collect all the items. This is done by first bringing up the 2 drop chutes where the items are going to fall down. We're going to bring these to the same height as this dispenser here. So this one is 1 hole, and then over here we're going to have another hole, which is also going to have the items fall down it. Now right here is the center of the farm, and from here we're going to go out all 4 cardinal directions with a total of 7 blocks. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we'll do this to this cardinal side here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this side over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 is occupied by the chest. That's good. And we're also go this direction. So 1 is at dispenser there, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now on either side of these arms, we're going to add in 2 more blocks so they're a bit thicker. So it's going to look like this on one side of them, like this on the other side. Let's go ahead and do this to the other arms. This arm already got one side, so we're going to add another set of blocks here and another set on this side here. And we'll also add blocks on this side as well. There, and then we just got to do this arm over here. So when you're done, it should look like this. Currently everything is symmetrical, but we're going to change that a bit. So the side where we have the hoppers going out, we're going to add in an extra row of blocks right here. And we're also going to add an extra row to this side over here. Then when it comes to this corner over here, we're going to add in a row like this, as well as a row right here, going all the way up to this. Now we're going to connect these corners up, and that's just by zigzagging these blocks so that they connect up together and filling in the holes, and we'll do this to each of the sides. So now it looks like this. Now we're going to square off these corners, but we're going to go up one first. So we're going to come in like this, so it'll end up looking like that. Now we'll do this to each of the corners. So now it'll look like this. Now this entire area is going to be covered in water, so we need to keep the water in. And the way we're going to do that is just by raising this side up by 1 block. So we're going to build a little wall that goes all the way around this entire thing. So that's just 1 block higher than everything else. For these outer blocks, it's good to build it with a block that's somewhat blast resistant like stone, so the TNT doesn't accidentally destroy it and your water spew out. So now it will look like this. So now from the top of our scaffolding, we're going to place a block in, just 1 below the very top. Then we're going to take this a total of 14 blocks straight out this direction. Then come in and place in a water source along the side here, so you can swim down underneath and place a block right over here. And then you can come up and remove that water source once again. Then from there we can go out and we're going to build in a little X area right here, and then we're going to take this back 2 blocks this direction. Now these lower blocks should be something that has higher blast resistance like stone, because they're going to be kind of close to TNT. For this design, I'm going to show you guys how to build the version that's using TNT dispensers. But if you want to build my TNT duper version of it, you can find the world download and schematic below. So we'll have 1 dispenser there, and then on top of that, we're going to have another dispenser like that. And then right between them, we're going to have a wall. Then we're going to place in TNT, so make a little trough for the TNT to go down. And we're going to have some water that's going to move it. We're going to hold the water back using this sign here. And then the water will be right here. The water is going to be used to delay the TNT, so by the time it falls down this hole, it will blow up at the perfect location to destroy the tree. The water also helps align the TNT up against the side of the block before falling down. And the reason why we have the 2 TNT drop far away from each other is because this is actually the closest we can drop the TNT without dropping it on top of potentially the tree itself. This has to do with how the tree grows. It can either grow one of the 4 cardinal directions, and it can grow quite wide in any of these directions. Now we're going to close off the top of that part over there, and we're going to continue encasing it upwards so that the wall is encased as well as above it. The top TNT, it's also going to get dispensed, and it's going to clip through that wall and fall downwards, while the lower hitbox of the wall will prevent the bottom TNT from going upwards. This makes the TNT a bit more precise. Now we need to get our signal from the scaffolding over to this dispenser. The way we're going to do that is we're going to read the scaffolding changing shape with this observer here. Then we're going to place that into a block. And then out of that, we're going to pull a signal with a repeater on 2 game ticks to another block. Then we're going to have a total of 6 repeaters, all on full delay. This is going to give time for the tree to grow up before the TNT blows it up. Then we're going to put that into a block, and then we're going to have a repeater on 1 tick here, and that's going to go into another block, which will eventually power the dispenser. Now from this block here, on this side here, we're going to go out a total of 6 blocks, which will take us close to the next TNT. Then we're going to go on this side, and we're going to do additional 4. And once again, we're going to drop down some water and use it to go underneath and place in a block right here. Now we can use this block to place in some more blocks. And before removing that block there, we want to make sure to place in the block right there, and then remove that one. This is a hole where the TNT will fall down. Then we'll place in our sign like the other side. We're also going to place in a glass around to hold this water in. We're also going to have our dispenser here with our block in between, and another dispenser on top with a wall between them. Now we can place some blocks here, and I'm going to put in glass because I'd like to watch the TNT fall down. And we're going to take this all the way up, encasing so the TNT can't escape, and closing that off like so. Now from over here, we're going to have the redstone connect from that dispenser all the way back to where our redstone is over here. So what's going to happen is that TNT is going to go off, and then after some delay, then that one's going to go off. And then after that one, we need to go ahead and power the top two dispensers. We're going to take this signal all the way over to there. We're going to just go straight out with these blocks until we are lined up with that dispenser right there. And we're going to go towards it and also upwards so that we're just underneath of it. And then we're going to take this blocks all the way up until we bump up against it. And then we're going to place a block right there. Now we're going to go ahead and connect the redstone from over here up with that over there by placing in a total of 4 repeaters on full delay. We'll place 3 of them at this location. Then we'll run redstone all the way up. Then to save on redstone, we'll place in a block there and another full repeater right there. So now the redstone will power that dispenser. Now we have to run this redstone back over to that top dispenser. So we're going to go ahead and pull a signal from here, and we're going to take this one all the way across until we're lined up with the dispenser from this side over here. Then we're going to add blocks so that we go all the way up and bump up against it and place a block in just like so. Now we're going to connect the redstone that comes from this one up to the last dispenser. We're also going to place in a total of 4 repeaters in here. If you want to, you can save on redstone by placing blocks before and after each repeater. And the repeaters will give us enough delay so the items from the previous TNT have enough time to get collected before the next TNT comes in and destroys them. And that's why we are alternating, first powering the lower one, then powering that one, then powering back over there, then powering over there, so we aren't destroying any new items that just got dropped by the previous TNT. Speaking of TNT, we need a place in so we can have more storage. So we're going to place a hopper pointing into that dispenser, then one pointing down to that one, and then one pointing into this dispenser up here. Then on top, we're going to place a chest, and in this chest is where we're going to place in all the TNT, which is going to be used to blow up the trees. We're going to do the same thing for these 2 dispensers here. And if you're wondering how you can get tons of gunpowder as well as sand, check out my farms linked below. If you don't want phantoms to spawn right where the player is AFKing, all you have to do is place a block right above it, which blocks skylight. You also don't want hostile mobs spawning up here, so make sure to place down a light so mobs aren't like spawning and falling down onto the player. And we're also going to place light around the tire outside of the farm here, as well as down in the redstone. Now we're almost ready for the water, but first we're going to come into this corner, remove this block, place a block here, and then replace that one. And we're going to do this to the opposite side as well. This is because this block will eventually get removed and we don't want the water to seep out of the farm. Then on either side of these blocks, we're going to place in slabs, and same for the opposite side. This way the TNT doesn't destroy them. Then pointing into this dispenser, we're going to have an observer, and we're going to have another observer pointing away from it. This is going to produce a clock, which will automatically move the bone meal from the dropper up into the dispenser and bone meal any sapling, which is right here. We want to have it so that this dispenser stops constantly clicking, as well as this dropper. What you could do is come in here and place a lever up against this and power it. This won't turn off this observer clock, but it will stop these from clicking. We also come in and remove this block and place in a stair just like so. And this will eventually be used by the player to place in a sapling while being AFK'd way down there. Now get some water or ice, and we're going to place one source right here and then one at the same place, just on the opposite. And we're going to go ahead and place in one source in all 4 of the corners here. And if you place this all in correctly, what's going to happen is the water is going to flow down and fill the entire thing up with flowing water, but it won't fall down these holes. This is going to be used to move all the items that fall off the tree directly into our storage. Using water collection is cheaper and easier than using hoppers or hopper minecarts. So to run the farm, make sure you have plenty of bone meal, and then you can come over here and turn on this hopper clock just by unpowering that lever there. The entire farm is on a clock, so while it's on, it will constantly be dispensing TNT. So now I come in and remove these blocks here, and the player will just be AFKing over on this side. Since there's no way to automatically place down saplings without a player, we do need a player to do that job. And we're going to look up and aim at the side of the stair, so we want to pretty much point right here. You can use a spyglass to get that. And hold down your mouse right click button. When the trapdoor opens up, it's going to allow you to plant the sapling up against the stair, which is actually going to place it on the side and place it over here on top of the dirt. That's automatically going to get bone mealed, and the tree is going to also get pushed upwards. It's going to also activate the TNT, which is going to come in 2 different sets and destroy the majority of it. The items are going to flow towards the centers and fall down either of these holes and eventually make their way all the way down into this chest down here. The reason why the player is AFKing down this low is so they don't take any damage from the TNT exploding above you, yet you're still within range to plant the sapling. By standing here, we're also standing within the collection system, so we're going to resupply any saplings that we use up so that we always have a full stack. And you could actually AFK without even holding down your mouse button. Go ahead and first hold it down, then press F3 plus T, and then when it pops up, release your mouse button. Now the game will automatically think your button's held down, even though you're not physically holding it down at the moment. So once the trapdoor opens again, you'll see that the player automatically does all the clicking without you even having to be there. Then you can use Alt-Tab to switch to a different window and continue working on your computer without interrupting your player automatically planting. The items that are on top of this trapdoor will eventually fall through it and be collected by this hopper down below. But despite the farm being so simple to build up and use, it actually produces a lot of items per hour. In just 1 hour, you can get 3,100 cherry logs, which you can craft down into 4 times as many planks, and about 2,100 cherry saplings, and can be bone milled down, plus over 1,200 sticks, which are great for fuel. And the only thing it needs to produce all that is about 1,200 bone meal. And for the TNT part, you could always come in and use the TNT duper version, but if you choose to use the dispensers, it will take about 1,000 TNT per hour. And if instead you want the leaves to not get blown up, but be collected as a block that you can use in your builds, look forward to my AFK cherry leaf farm. And keep up to date on the best way to farm up every single item with my Farm Everything spreadsheet. Now let your favorite Minecrafters know about this amazing new farm. Then see how I design an automatic farm for every item in the game of Minecraft with this playlist here, or this one all about more simple farms. If you're able to support me in my efforts in producing free and simple farms for everybody to use, I do have a Patreon with different tiers and rewards. Thanks for taking the time to hit the like button, and bye-bye!